Hey, what's up? Welcome to the podcast. Hey, we have a special edition today. Been wanting to do this for a long time. We just haven't been able to do it. And last month in our young adult service, we just said, hey, if you have any questions about our topic, send them to us, and we're going to answer as many of them as we can. We got 13 questions coming. Derek just handed them to me, and we're going to answer 10 of them really quick today. So this month at our young adult service, we talked about singleness, starting 4 months, talking about dating and relationships, happily ever after. So these questions mainly pertain to singleness and how do I deal with my single season in life. So here it goes.
All right, let's start. I'm really excited for this. All right. So our first question is, what does healthy singleness look like practically?
I think healthy singleness looks like healthiness in life. No difference between when you're single, you're dating, or you're married. How am I growing as a person? And so am I doing the right things as a person? Am I growing in my relationship with the Lord as a person? Am I growing in my friendships as a person? Am I growing in my career? I don't think there's anything specific about singleness necessarily. I think some more of the questions maybe will go more into detail, but it's really just how do I grow as a person?
That's good.
How am I a healthy person?
That's good. That's good. All right. So our second question is, how do I avoid idolizing marriage while still desiring it? That's a good question. I got to be real with you.
That is a tough one. And so how do I avoid idolizing marriage? Yet I'm still desiring it. And I think when you're married and you want to have kids, how do I idolizing my kids and keep my marriage as a focus? And so again, it's in different seasons of life we go through these things. And so I think we have to understand that the most important thing is my relationship with God and keeping that at the front. And so how do I idolize it? I think it's finding a purpose. What is your purpose in God? So one of the things that we talked about is if you don't have a purpose and you're so focused on finding a person without a purpose, then they ultimately become your God and you start to idolize them. And so how do I stop from idolizing? That is, God is my God. And so I'm keeping him at his place above everything else. And I'm running in my purpose. People have to understand single season is a great season. One of the greatest seasons of your life. Again, I don't want to be single again, so I empathize. If you're single, I understand. You want to be in a relationship, and I pray that God brings the right person to you sooner than later. But the truth is there's something that you can still learn in this season, and you can miss this season of something that God wants to do. In your single season, you'll never be able to just say, I'm going to get up and go on vacation right now because I can and nobody else is holding me back. I'm going to give out all of my attention to pursue a passion like never before. After you're married, now you have to have a conversation with another person. You don't have to get to come home from work and not have to entertain another person that's there. Like you can run after your passions and do your things. You can go play pickleball at 8 o'clock at night and not have to worry about anybody or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And so how do you avoid idolizing it? It's keeping it in its place. Like it's a prayer. You want to find somebody, but still God has to be number one.
That's good. That's good. All right. So our third question is, how do I build strong friendships that help me grow but don't feel like a second place to dating?
And this is not really in your singleness. I think this comes from, whoever asked it, comes from a place of, and we see it all the time. I've gotten a relationship and now my friends are complaining because I don't spend time with them.
Yeah.
Or I've got into a relationship and now I feel like all my friends are treating me differently.
Yeah.
And if all your friends are treating you differently, you may be the common denominator in there. More times than not, I find that when young people get into a relationship, they don't set clear boundaries of you still need your time.
Yeah.
And so when we get in a relationship, we think we're married and we're not married, and there's a balance there. A lot of problems we have are people that are dating think they're married, and so they're acting like a married couple. Meaning, sure, you want to be nice and say, hey, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. Are you okay with that? You want to get but you don't need permission. Like they're not your spouse. They're not your thing. And
That's
so
good.
You got to run things the right way. But I think most times what happens is we treat a dating relationship like they're my marriage, and we're spending 100 hours a week with them. All of our other friends that are still in their single season, and so we're the only one that changed.
Yeah.
They're still doing life, and they're still doing. So we naturally drift apart a little way, and then the person gets mad when they want their friends, but their friends aren't there. And so I think the best way to do it is how do you build your strong friendships is letting your partner know, I have some friends that are important to me. And this is my time on Sunday night is my time where, hey, I still need my time to recharge for me. I need my time with the Lord. I need my time to still, hang out with my family, not only friendships, but we see this where people lose their family because now they're surrounded by this one person. They spend all their one time with this person. And so when you get into your relationship, boundaries are there's different types of boundaries, and healthy boundaries, even with your time, are important. So what are your 2 nights that you're going out on dates together? You don't have to spend every night with that person and spend hours and hours and hours on the phone. I know, like, it's a cool season and you got the butterflies and you're getting to know each other, but
Yeah.
you still got to have boundaries, and you have to protect your friendships, and you have to protect your family, because let's say that relationship doesn't work out, you're going to be left all alone.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think the best way to do it is be upfront with your relationship, with your boyfriend, with your girlfriend. Let them know, hey, I want you to have friends. Hey, and I want to have friends too. And sometimes we're going to hang out with our friends and we're all going to come together. And sometimes I need my time. I want to go hang out with my friends and go to the movie, and we don't need you to be there, and all these things. But it's open communication. In a relationship, the greatest thing, there's 2 things that every relationship is built on, and it's trust and it's communication. And if you don't trust each other, then they won't trust you to go hang out with their friends. And that's where it boils down to. I don't trust you because I don't know who's going to be there, and what are you going to be doing without me? And if you feel like that, you're probably not ready to be in a relationship. My wife and I, when we were dating, we always prioritized, like, we had our nights where, hey, you go out with your friends, I'm going to go hang out with my friends, because it's important as you're growing as a person. So
That's good.
keep growing them just like you'd grow them if you were single. How do you grow a relationship, or how do you grow friendships? It's investment and it's time. Make sure that you're not taking all the time away from your friends.
That's really good. All right. Question number 4 says, what's the role of mentorship in my single season?
Same as every season. When you start dating, you need mentors in your life. When you're married, you need more mentors in your life. So the idea of mentorship is I have somebody that's one step ahead of me. And so if I'm dating, I want mentors that are married, that are above me, that have lived life, so that they can see my blind spots. And mentorship is only as good as you giving somebody permission to speak into your life.
That's good.
And so that's the big deal. We think, oh, I got these people, they're my mentors. But then when they come to me, I don't listen to what they say.
Or get upset.
Or I get upset. And you have to give somebody permission to see your blind spots. And when a mentor comes to me and says, hey, PJ, I noticed this in your life, I may not 100% agree with it or even 100% follow exactly what they say, but I have to at least take it into consideration. And I've never got upset with a mentor bringing something to me, even though I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
My response is, hey, I appreciate so much that you brought that to my attention. I'm going to take that into consideration. And there's always a little bit of truth to it, even if I think they're wrong. They're saying, hey, you're spending too much time doing this, or you shouldn't be doing this. They may not be 100% right, but there's still something that I can learn in that conversation and take it. It's almost like there's a little bit of truth in every joke, right? And so there was a little bit of truth that it came from. And so what was the question? I usually prepare notes, so I'm doing these off the cuff. What's the role of mentorship
in my single season?
You need it. You need it. And you need somebody that you don't have to tell everybody all of your crushes and all of your things and all of your feelings towards people in your single seasons, but you need to tell somebody. And the reason that you have mentors is because they see your blind spots. Somebody that you trust with your life, that, hey, I listen to God and I listen to this person. Because sometimes God speaks to us through other people. And maybe God's even telling you something, but you don't want to hear it just for yourself. And then God's going to use them as confirmation of, hey, this is where I'm telling you to do it. So I don't think it's just singleness and just like, what does healthy singleness look like practically? It's kind of the same way. It's all seasons of your life. No matter what season you are in life, you need mentors that are one step ahead of you, that are helping guide you to get there. And so when I think of mentorship, I think of, where do I want to be in this area of my life? So where do I want my marriage to be 40 years from now, 10 years from now? I'm going to go find people that looks like that's what they have is what I want, and I'm going to ask them to help me get there.
That's really good. I think we're seeing a pattern that just because you're single doesn't mean you're different than everybody else.
Of these questions were, just because you're single, it's this is life stuff. How you're healthy? By doing the right things, by making the right decisions. Keep going.
All right. So my next question is struggling with sexual temptation a sign I'm not ready for a relationship?
I don't know that it's a sign that you're not ready for a relationship, but it is a sign that you need to take very seriously. And so the truth of that is if you're struggling with, let's just say, pornography, if you're struggling with pornography and you feel like a relationship is going to stop that, it's not. It may stop it for a month or for a short season because you're focused on something else, but it will come back. Same thing with, I know so many young adults that have been struggling with pornography, get married and think, now that I can have sex, it's going to go away. And 2 or 3 years later, a year later, they're right back in the same place they were, and now they're struggling. And then they even blame their spouse that they're struggling with it when they carried this into the relationship. It's a crazy thought. And so I wouldn't say struggling with sexual temptation is a sign that you're not ready to be in a relationship, but I think that if this is somebody that you want to pursue, you need to be honest with them.
Yeah.
So because they need to have even maybe stronger boundaries to protect themselves and protect you to make sure that you're walking the line. And I think we probably all struggle with sexual temptation is temptation. So are you struggling with sexual temptation, or are you struggling with, sexual addictions? There's kind of two different things there.
Yeah.
And so we're all going to be tempted every day. Jesus was tempted, and we see how Jesus went through the temptations to say no to those things. I'm tempted with sexual things every day. Every time I go on Instagram, I'm tempted because I know that it's going to be there. So I put blocks in my life and I don't go to the search engine because I know what's going to pop up there. And so I think if you're struggling, you need to be honest. And if you're willing to pursue somebody in a relationship, and maybe it's not date one, hey, let me tell you, I look at pornography.
Probably not a good way to
Maybe
start
not date one, but if you're wherever that moment is where you're saying, I'm taking this relationship to the next step, you got to be honest with them to let them know, because it will be heartbreaking when they find out. And the Bible tells us that God will shout our sins from the rooftop. So either God's going to shout them out, or the enemy's going to condemn us and make us ashamed because of them. And so some way, if we don't deal with our sin, it's going to be found out. And so if you are serious and you like this person, you love this person, and you want to pursue them, then you got to at least be honest with them. So that way, again, your boundaries might look a little bit different during your dating relationship and other things. And so, it's a sign that you need help and you need to deal with things.
All right. I think I skipped one, so we're going to go back to that one. And it is, how do I know if someone is spiritually mature enough to pursue?
Look at their life. Do they show the fruits of the Spirit?
There you go.
Fruits of the Spirit is 9 qualities of virtues: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And yes, I did read that from my laptop. My daughter knows all 9 of them, and she's 7 years old, but I probably would miss one. So, but look at their life. How do I know if someone's spiritually mature? Do they worship during worship? Do they talk about the Lord? Yeah. I don't think when you're hanging out with a group of friends that all your conversations have to be about what the Lord is. But if I'm getting to know somebody and I'm thinking, hey, they're attractive, I kind of like them, do they ever talk about the Lord?
Yeah.
Do they ever share the goodness of God? Do they ever share their dreams of what they want to do? And so I'm looking at all of those things to find out, like, is this somebody worth pursuing or is it not? If they're late to work all the time and they blow off their job and they're lazy, I probably don't want to pursue them. Yeah. I'm looking for somebody that is not just potential, but it's somebody that's got a calling on their life and they're walking. I don't have time for a project. I got a time. I want to pursue somebody that's ready, that's going to help lead me, that's going to help push me in my calling. And so I'm going to look at who they are, their life, and I'm okay with that. And is that person going to be able to push me closer to God, or are they going to pull me away? Relationships are challenging. We all want to be in relationships.
Yeah.
Relationships are challenging. And so I want to be in a relationship with someone that's going to push me closer to God, not pull me away. How do I know if they're going to push me to God? Do they push me to God even in my friendship? Do I get along with this person? Like, they might be gorgeous, but can I talk to them? I'm going to get tired of looking at them eventually. Yeah. And some of that stuff's going to fade. Gravity's going to have its way. And so, I think the number one quality, 2 qualities. One is, how was their relationship with the Lord? And then number 2 is, can I even be friends with them? Yeah. There are people that love the Lord, but it doesn't mean that I'm even friends with them or that I am even feeling like we can have a conversation. And so if I can't have a conversation with you, I probably shouldn't pursue you, even though you love Jesus and you're gorgeous. I also have to have chemistry with you. We have to have like-minded. We have to have the same goals in life and hobbies. Good. I'm rambling. Keep going.
All right. So our next question is, this one is a really good question. All right. How can I stay faithful and patient if it feels like God is silent in this area? They keep praying. They keep asking.
Yeah, you got to keep. I mean, what happens is when we want something so bad and we feel like we're not getting it, we settle because we feel like I have to make it happen now.
That's good. Yeah.
And it's so dangerous. I shared a story in the message in Young Adults where I was going for a run and I came in and there was no water, but there was soda sitting there. And I just grabbed the soda because I was so thirsty. So I put something in my body that I know was not going to help me quench the thirst that I had because it was there and I was desperate. And we do the same thing with relationships. Maybe you've been saying, hey, I've been doing everything right, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and why do I got to wait? And God's not going to do it, so now I got to go do it. And it's recipe for disaster. I wish I knew, I wish everybody, we all had the same day. Like, when I turn 21, I'm going to meet my spouse. Or this is the year. The truth is we just don't know, and it's so challenging. And so we're going to talk about dating next month. And so if you have this question, we're going to talk about things to look for in a person, and we're going to go a little bit deeper into this as we talk about dating. But stay the course. One of the most important decisions you'll ever make in your life is who you're going to spend the rest of your life with, who you're going to give your time to, who you're going to give your attention to. And so stay the course. It's not worth compromising for. Find somebody that's going to lead you. They're going to come eventually. And I know it's hard, and I know it's a struggle, but you just got to stay the course.
That's good. That's good. All right. The next question is, how do you know?
Oh, wait. Well, let me say something on that too, really quick. Because I did say in the service that I was going to teach guys how to ask a girl out.
Oh gosh.
And so, if you're a fella in the room, sometimes you just got to shoot your shot.
All right.
If you think she's attractive and you think you're ready to go, sometimes Bella's in the office and she's looking at me like, "Don't tell them that." She's scared she's gonna get asked out by a bunch of people. She is single, but she's blushing right now. You should have been on the podcast, Bella. Here's the truth. Look, fellas, at some point you got to shoot your shot.
You got to do it.
But if she says no, you got to be okay with that.
Yeah, you can't get upset.
You got to be okay with that. Look, if I was single, I'm going to whoever I think is the best one, and I'm going to spit the best game that I got. And if she says no, the problem is we're all scared of rejection.
Yeah.
But what if it's a yes?
Imagine.
What if it is a yes?
Man,
And
that's your future wife.
At some point, for fellas, you got to shoot your shot. But if you shoot your shot and she's not ready or she says no, you can't take that.
Yeah, you can't be in your feelings about that.
You can't be in your feelings about that. She said no, you got to move on. Ladies, you got to be honest. If you don't like them, don't be nice. Just say, I don't like you.
Yeah,
I don't feel the same way, because you can't lead them on. Sometimes girls, they don't want to say no to a guy because they're trying to be nice. Well, okay. And then you go on a date with a guy that you never liked, and you're just wasting his time and leading him on, which is just as bad. So, fellas, my advice to you, shoot your shot. Ladies, you got to be honest. If you're not into them, just say, hey, don't say, I just don't want to date right now. And then a week later, you're on a date with somebody else.
That's terrible.
Just be honest. Look, if guys are going to shoot their shot, and I'm giving guys permission to that, I'm giving girls permission to be like, I don't like you.
No.
There's somebody here for you, but it ain't me.
It ain't me. Keep trying.
So ladies, all the ladies keep saying, well, there is nobody. Well, if they come to you and they start asking you, you got to be honest and just say, hey, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
And that'll ease everybody up because.
Yeah. Oh, and fellas, never say this. I know some fellas that have said this. This is the dumbest thing you could ever say in your life. God told me.
Oh, please. All right. Look directly into our eyes.
Don't say that.
Do not say that, please.
You might be wrong.
You probably are wrong. You're in your feelings.
And that's manipulation.
That is spiritual manipulation.
Because if God told you, then you have a responsibility. They don't. And so when you say God told me, now you put the responsibility on them. Now, if God tells me something for my family, me and my wife are married. We've made a covenant. Okay. Yeah. So it is my responsibility to tell my wife, God told me this. Single dude, that ain't your wife.
Nope.
Don't be playing that God told me card. If God told you, here's what you do, then you go and pray for them that God will tell them too. Because you telling them that God told you doesn't do anything for them.
It don't mean a single thing.
Yeah, why did y'all do that?
It's so crazy to me.
God told me you're going to be my wife. You are too desperate. You are thirsty.
It's weird a little bit. I'm going to be real with you.
Yeah, don't say that.
Please
Guys,
don't.
Shoot your shot, but don't play the God card.
Yes.
Girls, be honest.
And don't use God as a rejection tool either.
That right there was worth this podcast.
And don't use God as the rejection tool either.
No, don't say, oh, God, I'm just working on my relationship with God. Just say no.
Just say no.
Just say, hey, sorry, I don't feel that way.
Don't play the game. Just say no. It's okay.
Be honest.
All right.
So, guys, if you're going to shoot your shot, you also got to be ready to be rejected because it might happen. But you never know. You got to take a risk.
And then right? And it's no longer this
It's
mind
not
game.
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's weird is Here's what's weird. That's good. Here's what's weird.
That's
'Cause
good.
This happens all the time. Guys will come to me and be like, she smiled at me. Or they'll be like, she ignored me today. She's probably not thinking about you.
You're riding this roller coaster.
Yeah, just go shoot your shot. And if she says no, let her say no.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. You'll be fine. All right.
You going to listen to this later, Bella?
We'll send it to you.
Be honest. Just be honest when they say no.
It's just say no.
We should make a bet. How many guys do you think are going to ask out Bella in the next month?
How many no's do you think they're going to be?
She just said all of them. Don't even ask her. Don't waste your time. Bella said no. And now she's going to be complaining.
No one is asking me out. All right. All right. So our next question.
She's going to be on the next podcast to protect herself.
Where am I?
We are on number 9.
9?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, they're mixed around, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. How can I trust God's timing when it feels like everyone around me is moving on?
Same one. You just got to wait.
You just got to wait.
You got to wait. I get it. Well, luckily for me, I was married before all my friends.
Same.
But I have a lot of conversation with this, and I get it. Like, all your friends are getting married. So me and my wife had that with kids. So we were like the first ones married, but all of our friends were having kids, and you're dealing with, man, everybody's having kids, and why aren't we? And then you get the people that come say, when are you going to have kids? And they didn't understand that we were struggling with infertility and all the other things. And so you might get people come to you say, when are you going to date? And you're like, I wish I could, and nobody's asking me or whatever. Sometimes life's hard. Like, get the right people that you can talk about it, so that you're not holding stuff in, but don't compromise. It won't be worth it. Stay the course. How can I trust God's timing? You have to. You trust God with everything, and with this as well, because, you just got to. You got to.
Yeah. All right. This is the last question, I believe.
No, we have 2 more.
2 more? All right.
Yep.
All right. So the second to last question is, how do you know when God has fully prepared you for your future partner? That's a hard question.
I don't know that it's, again, just like having kids.
Are you ever
fully prepared until you do it?
Yeah.
And so I've had conversations with people that were dating and really felt like the Lord said, or people that were single and saying, I feel like I want to date this person. Am I ready? And I felt like the Lord said no. And then I've had people that kind of the same thing. It's like, I think you're right. That's kind of harder to describe. I've had people that were dating saying, I'm ready to go get married. We're going to go do it, but whatever. Here's the time frame. And I've said, I don't think it's the right time to get married. I have a couple that came to me and they were ready to get married. They were going to get married in like a year and a half or something like this because of college, and they were going to 2 different places and all this other stuff. And I really felt like the Lord said, tell them to go do it right now. And to their surprise, I was like, I feel like the Lord said you should just go do it before you go to college and just go do it right now. Not before you go to college. They were in between. It
was like grad school or something?
Yeah, in between school type things.
Okay.
And they were sitting in my office, and I'm like, I think the Lord said you should just do it now. And they're like,
are you serious right now?
What? I'm like, go talk to your parents. Have a meeting with both your parents. You can tell them I think that you said you should do it now. Ask their opinion. And if they're both on board with it, then you should do it now. Literally 2 days later, they have dinner. They have both sets of parents there.
Yeah.
They explained to them, hey, we're going to get married in your house, blah, blah, whatever, but this is where we are. And both parents said, I think you should do it now. 6 weeks later, they got married.
6 weeks.
Now they've been married for like 8 years, 2 kids.
That's crazy.
But like, what was the question? How do I know when God is full? I don't know that you fully know. Here's what I would say. I'm going to tell you the notes that I shared in our young adult service, the 8 kind of notes for if you are single, what you should be doing. And I think it just goes, number 1 is get to know God. Yeah. So how do you know if you're ready? Do you know God right now? Do you have a relationship with God? Get to know people around you. Get social. Do you have friends? Do you have a support system? Get purpose. Find out what God wants you to do. Again, this is your chance to do it. It may not be that you're in your perfect career right now, but find purpose. Walk with purpose. Get a calling from God. Get boundaries. Do you have boundaries? If you don't have boundaries, then you shouldn't be dating yet.
That's good.
Well, why would I have boundaries if I'm not dating yet? You should know the boundaries before you start dating.
Yeah.
That way, when you get into the conversation with the person on, hey, this is my values, this is what I believe, this is what I want to protect, this is what's too far from me. You already know those things, because if you don't, you'll let that person dictate them for you. And so I find this a lot of times where there will be one that has a past, and there'll be one that doesn't have a past, and they're sitting down talking about, okay, we're going to date, then what's our boundaries going to be? The person with the past, they have great intentions to always say, well, we're not going to whatever. And then they always fall because they have get to know your boundaries now. Let that person know, hey, we're not doing this. Cutting it off here. We're not hanging out past this time.
That's
like, people just think boundaries are like, well, I can't live life. No, boundaries are there to protect you. That's just what they're there for. And so get to know who those are. You got to find out, like, how important is getting married with your virginity mean to you? How important does it mean to be pure on that day? And that's a question that everybody's got to wrestle with, that I can tell you my opinions on it. I got married pure. I was a virgin. I got to stand on my wedding day and share with my wife, I saved myself for you. I got the greatest gift for you. And that's not everybody's story, but you got to find out how important that is for you. And if it's important to you, you're the only person that can protect it. So get boundaries. You won't fall if you get the boundaries now. And then when you're meeting with them, like, one thing that spoke to my wife so much was she had a past, and when we started dating, I knew my boundaries. And so when I started telling her my boundaries, she knew, like, this guy's serious.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a joke. This isn't a game. Like, he's serious about these things. So get a job. Like, do you have a job? If you don't have a job, get a job. Get out of debt. Like, how much debt do you have? You're going to take that into your relationship. So I know teenagers, or I know young adults that got $60,000, $70,000 worth of student loan debt. And I get it. You went to school. Like, it's not that you can't date until you don't have any debt, but, like, you also got to explain that debt to your person, because when you get married, that's their debt as well.
Yep.
And so work hard to get out of it right now. You're single. Most of the time we get in trouble when we're bored or we don't have anything going on. Just think about your life.
True.
People that are addicted to pornography, 80% of the time, when you look at pornography, it was because you were bored or you weren't doing anything. Go get a second job. Like, you're single. Why not? Alleviate getting in trouble. Like,
you got the time.
Get out of debt. Get rest. Like, and I know it's hard, but if you're continually thinking about relationship, you're not resting, so you're not letting the Lord speak to you. Every time that you think the Lord's speaking to you, it's always going to be clouded out, and it's going to be because you're not able to hear him clearly. And love yourself. Learn to take care of yourself. If you're overweight, start working out. Start walking. Start eating healthy. Like, if I was single and I go out and they ate like crap, like, I don't know if I want to be with that person. Like, I want somebody that loves themselves, because if they're going to cook for me one day, I want to make sure that if they're taking care of themselves, they're going to take care of me. And that's not just the woman, but both. I want to make sure that you love yourself enough, so now I know you're going to love me.
That's
if you don't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of me? How are you going to watch out for me if you can't do it for yourself? So learn to take care of yourself. Yeah, that's it. So how do you know when you're fully prepared? I don't know that you fully know, but I do know this when I know when, hey, I got more things I need to work on.
For sure.
And you got to be, when the door opens, the door opens. So you got to be ready, so when the door opens, you can walk through the door.
That's good. All right. Our last question, and this one is a doozy. All right. What advice would you give for someone who's dealing with a broken heart?
Couple things. I think number one is, have you really surrendered that to the Lord yet?
Yeah.
And there's a difference between saying, yeah, I've done that, versus I've really surrendered it to the Lord. Have you forgiven? Unforgiveness is a sin. And so if you walk through that process of, how do I forgive somebody that has broke my heart, whether they dumped me, whether they took advantage, whatever that is, like, at the end of the day, unforgiveness is a sin. So have I walked through that process? Get the right people that you can talk to. The Bible says that when we confess to Jesus, our sins are forgiven. And it says our hearts are healed when we tell other people.
Yeah.
And so talking about mentors and all this stuff and some other questions, who are you talking to in your life? And then you got to protect that heart a little bit. There's kind of two ways. One, before you get into the next relationship, you got to make sure that you're protecting your heart so that doesn't happen again. Yeah. But in the same token, you also got to make sure that you're not walking into a relationship overprotecting your heart and not letting everybody else in.
Yeah, that's real.
And so I think how those take place a little bit deeper than we have time to answer right now because we wanted this to be 30 minutes. What time are we at right now?
29:47.
Man, pretty good. I said I don't want it to be more than 30 minutes. And so we'll continue on this. I might even bring this up in my message next month at Young Adults, talking about a broken heart. But surrender to God. The Bible says that God's close to the brokenhearted.
Yeah.
And so have you really surrendered it to him? Have you really taken it to him? Get the right people around you to help you go through that. Do you need to talk to somebody? Do like whatever? And there's different varies of this, and I don't know exactly what took place. But you got to get rid of that before you go in your next relationship because it's not fair to be carrying that into the next one.
That's good. That's good. I think we're all done with the questions.
Hey, love you guys. Our next service is May the 6th. Is it May the 6th? Let's see. First Tuesday of the month, May the 6th, Sits Young Adults, Church of the Sun, Orlando, Florida, 7 p.m. I don't know what we're going to do after service yet, but follow us on Instagram, Sits Young Adults, CITS Young Adults. Is that I don't even know our handle. Sits Young Adults. Follow us on Instagram for more information. Love you. Hey, if you can, share this with somebody maybe that needs to hear it, but also let us know. Give us some feedback. Text Derek or I. Let us know what you thought of the Q&A. I want to do these more often because they're super easy and chill just to kind of sit down and have a conversation about it. And so give us your thoughts. Love you guys. See you in a couple weeks.
See ya.